This is C.J. Marshall, and I'm speaking with Chairman of Wyoming County Commissioners Tom Henry, and he and Commissioners Judy Mead and Mike Stabinsky just recently passed the 2020 budget for Wyoming County, and with no tax increase. Okay, and Tom, that was a pretty
amazing feat,
right? Because of the fact that, if you recall correctly, that was a real hot point with the commissioners race.
It absolutely was. We were able to pass the budget with it's a $15 million budget, $15,450,075. But a lot of things contributed to that. We picked up a couple $100,000 in new assessed value in Wyoming County. And there's some perceived monies coming too with some big projects that are being worked on in the county, such as BKV and DNC, and but that wasn't included in our budget. But that makes the future look brighter too. So a lot of things contributed to this, CJ. And one of the things is we had a lot less prisoners boarded out this year. We were way over 100,000 last year. And this year we were just under $50,000 in boarding fees and costs. Other things that happened, we were made to get a new voting machine. We went with clear ballot, and it was $400 and some thousand. But the governor came back with a 60%, so far anyway, with even more hopefully coming. 60% of that we're getting back. So that all helped make it easier, the budget here. There was new funding from Children and Youth, new funding from 911. That comes from your phone bills and there's a charge on there, so there was more of that this year, funding. So a few months ago, it was really grim looking, but the last few months.
What was the projected tax increase, if you had?
It was projected to be at least 1.5 increment raised. As you know, the last 2 years have been really difficult. We haven't raised taxes very much, but we've had to raise them the last 2 years, and I was just so grateful that we didn't have to this year. In the 8 years that I've been here, we've raised them twice, which is good, but nobody wants to raise them even once. Mm-hmm. So I mean, and we raised them as little as possible. Unfortunately, our school district and our other taxes have gone up continuously, but the counties have stayed pretty slow.
Okay, now,
and we don't have to do it this year.
Now, explain to me, in other words, as you said, nobody likes taxes to go up, but why do taxes have to go up when they do?
It's weird, because if we don't have the amount of folks, you see a lot of houses for sale, and if our assessed value isn't high enough, we can't run the county. You know what I mean? If all the homes if people aren't living here, people are moving away, and people, that all generates why our taxes would have to go up. Everybody thinks it's because we all make too much money, and it's really not the facts. If we don't fill up homes and our businesses and all that don't do well in the county, then we have a problem with our tax revenue. It looks promising this year. A lot of homes are being sold. Wyoming County's looking good. There's new businesses. So it doesn't seem to be a trend. It seems to be on the upstart of a better.
Well, let's put some of the consequences of if you don't raise taxes. Tell me about when you don't raise taxes, when services suffer, don't they?
Oh, of course they do. A lot of our services in the county are reimbursed through the state and things like that, but there's a lot that aren't. And if we don't have the money to run the county with, trust me, we work hard to make sure that we don't overspend or don't elaborate on things, but you want to make sure that people are safe, our prison is safe. You want to make sure children and youth, that we have enough people to go out if there's a problem or any kind of emergency that happens in town. Our sheriff's department has to be up to standards. We can't skimp on a lot of things. 911, we've made so many changes over the last 8 years that it's unreal. Just what we've done to make sure that we're one of the safest counties around. We have a lot of gas industry here. We want to be able to stay on top of that. If we should fall away from that and something should happen, who knows what the consequences would be. So there's a lot of things that you can't hold back on. There's a lot of things that has to be run correctly.
To give an example, let's say the taxes support, when you say emergency services, the drug
Absolutely.
fight against the fight against illicit drugs.
We go after every grant, everything available out there, but we still, I mean, there's costs of supplying Narcan, there's costs of treatment, we work together with other counties, Luzerne, Wyoming, Lackawanna, Susquehanna. We work with all of them to assure that there's treatment for everybody, and that doesn't come cheap. But I just there is no new taxes for Wyoming County this year, and hopefully we can stay on that trend for many years to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have to get into, let's say, a bit of a delicate area.
Sure.
I mean, we saw what happened during the commissioners' meeting and
Sure.
everything like that. And you want to explain a little about what's going on with that?
Sure. I know one of the new commissioners wants to save money by taking money away from our employees. There's a cost of living raise that he's talked about asking all the non-employees, or the not non-employees, but all the elected officials to not take. He also wants to take yearly cost of living raises from the employees. And I just
What was it, the management?
the management, right.
Employees.
And I just think it's not fair to do that even before he's been sworn in as a commissioner, to even suggest that yet, because he doesn't see what people do and how they work. And the employees here work really hard, and some of the salaries aren't that high. To take that away and then to also try to change their insurance, and we just don't see eye to eye on all that stuff. Is all
Now,
I'm trying to
you
say.
keep on saying he, but since there's two commissioners elected.
Well,
who is
he's
it?
the only one talking about
Okay.
it. And I don't know what the other commissioner feels about this. I guess it's fear of the unknown, and I don't want him to just come in here and... We have contracts. We have union contracts. We have contracts with the employees, management contracts. Yeah, you just can't come in and say, you no longer have these things. You know what I mean? And I don't want him... All I'm asking is for him to be fair and to sit down and look at what people do and how they get paid. And there's people that work extremely hard in the county here that make sure that everything is done and done right, and that people are taken care of, and people aren't in any danger. And before you just come in and start taking their money away, and that they've worked hard to get to where they're at, I just think we need to sit down and discuss it more, instead of just saying this is how it's going to be. And that's been shoved down my throat, and I just got tired of it this morning.
Okay.
All right.
All right, well, I think that should just about do it then. When's the next commissioners meeting?
We get sworn in, the new commissioners and myself get sworn in on January 6th.
And is that the commissioners meeting day?
No, the following Tuesday, I believe, is the first commissioners meeting.
Okay.
All right?
Well,
I look forward to it. I really want to work with these guys. I really want to do what's right. And I think they'll realize once they're here, too, that in order to get something done, we have to, work together. It just hasn't felt that way talking to them yet, but I'm sure that it will.
okay.
To the one. All right. All right.